as you can see with ProveX right now, we are at almost 14.5 million. It looked like sacrificed. To put that into perspective, if you're talking about the PulseX and Pulse sacrifices, PulseX was hundreds of millions, right, Ewok? I forget what the exact number was.
It was, I think it was close to $1 billion. I know at one point there was $900 million in there. So
yeah,
for PulseX, I think 600 million for Pulse, 650.
Yeah,
and another 9 for PulseX.
So huge valuations, like you've said before, with basically like the paper gains of hex sacrificers the last time around. And this really, for ProveX, is the exact opposite. Nobody wants to do this. Not literally nobody, but the majority of people don't want to do it. I don't think Richard, through any other series of events, could have probably like pissed off or gotten people within his own ecosystem, especially that are prone to it, to be more pissed off at him. You have people leaving it, obviously, and like joining new communities and interviewing people from other ecosystems and writing diatribes about Richard and stuff. And Buck from Fiat fame, no pun intended there, but Buck and Dylan, who are running the main sacrifice pool for this, which we've talked about before, has brought up a lot of good points about how like that's what has just made this look like such an opportunity here, because it's an extremely low valuation. You can see on the screen now the number one sacrificer that is now over $5 million sacrifice. That is the pool that Buck has created, that you and I have both partook in there as well, Ewok, but leading with a multiplier of like 2.65 right now. But Buck has pointed out like the insane sentiment around this, how Richard basically got all these things to align where running another sacrifice, you get this setup now. Like it's almost like the perfect storm of people being upset and not wanting to do this to create what looks like probably the best like initial offering since Hex that he's done, with a lower amount of money involved here right now. It's basically the inverse of the PulseX sacrifices. Now, we didn't think, even though Pulse and PulseX, are heavy from the amount of people that sacrificed, you still didn't think that the Bermuda Triangle of shit was going to happen this cycle, where Ethereum never does anything. Like, you still thought, okay, Ethereum gets to 10K plus at least, and that helps pull everything up and everything, no matter what. So the kind of bloated valuations of Pulse and PulseX, that you had that in the back of your mind. Now ETH does nothing, and so far, and we're kind of out where we're at. So I'm rambling, but I guess first, before we actually get into the points of his stream, and again, I know, and look, if you guys are watching this and don't want to sacrifice for this, don't believe in it, ignored RH's stream, whatever, don't do it. Like, we're not persuading you to. I know when these kind of things happen, people that are not maybe like streamer community members or something, they just see us on a screen and assume that we are like part of the club or something like that. All we do is just fire up our computers and do a stream and talk about what we're doing. Like, we're not looking from an ivory tower and like totally made it from Hex and are on some island somewhere or something like that. You know what I mean? And to me, like, sacrificing for this right now is a way of trying to triple down on what we've already done to try to make a lot of it back, and I just I think that it's the best opportunity right now. That's going to get worse as obviously the percentage hikes up, that you're getting worse and worse rates. So why do you think it is a good opportunity though right now, Ewok? And again, it's not as if we sacrifice with a small amount. I mean, it's the opposite of what people did for the Pulse and PulseX sacrifice. Like, it's money that you're comfortable with sacrificing. Sure. So what do you?
Well, first, I kind of want to go over this because I think a lot of people still don't really understand the way that it works, right? So for the first however many days, whether it was 20, 21 days, whatever, 20 days, you got a rate of $1 equaled 10,000 points, tokens, whatever you want to call it. They're 10,000 points. Um, when the pool was put together by Buck, everybody pools their money and to get the biggest bonus, which is again the multiplier was upwards of 3x, but it works on a curve. Currently, it is at 2.6 or 2.64 multiplier. So you're going to get whatever you put in at the rate of 2.6 minus their little fee that they have. You're going to get about 2.25 anyway. At in the first however many days. Now, on yesterday when it did tick up, now instead of $1 for 10,000, you're getting 10,000, but it's going to cost you $1.625. So $1.6.25 to get the same 10,000. Tomorrow it goes up to $1.12. Then the next day is $1.19, so on and so forth until it gets pretty crazy. Here on the 19th or 20th of December, even you're at almost $3 to get those same 10,000 points. So that's how this curve works. So right now, the $1.06 isn't really a big deal. Even tomorrow, $1.12, not so bad. It really starts to add up, though, after 2 or 3 days of this curve starting. So if you are considering it, don't wait too long or you're really going to hurt yourself. I would say after 4 or 5 more days, you're at $1.50. It's probably not even worth it. You're losing 50% of your original buy-in at that point. You may be better to just kind of sit back and watch. If it dips, maybe buy it then. But either way, I wanted to kind of explain that. Now, once it gets to the 4th of January for 5 days, it goes to a straight up, there is no more bonus. Oh, well, by the way, so the whole time this is happening, if you sacrifice to the pool, you're still getting that 3 or, the 2.6 whatever bonus, minus the fees off the top. It still counts up until this final day at January 4th. After that, there is no more weighted multiplier bonus. You only get a 75%. So if you put $1,000 in, you're only going to get $750 worth of tokens, and the rate is $8.34 per 10,000. So it's a crazy. It's just not worth it. However, this is the time when the OA sacrifice, whatever you want to call it, got in the last time when it was a flat bonus, whatever it was, flat bonus 0.75% or 75% with no multiplier. So you can't increase the pool. You can't, at that point, you can't overtake somebody with the bonuses. So I believe that's why that entity waited so long the last time to put in at the very end. And it cost them a lot more money to get, a very similar amount of what would have been done in the first couple days. I believe they're just giving people a fair chance, right, to be up there. So I wanted to kind of explain that because there are 15 minutes left today for people to understand that,
Right.
After today, it goes to $1.12 and then $1.19, and it just keeps going up from there. So, again, if you're thinking about doing this, I wouldn't wait. Again, don't feel pressured or led into it. But if you're kind of sitting on the fence, you might want to jump in before the water gets too shallow that you're going to break an ankle when you hit the bottom. So
right.
Anyway, all right. So what was the question?
No, from Mitch Girl. So she says, will the pool, meaning Buck's pool there, be closed after the rate changes? So, I mean, I think she's referring when she says pool. I'm assuming she means Buck's pool. And
I don't think he can. Now, will they?
well, he can at any time.
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess he could.
I
You'll
don't.
have to.
I don't think that's the plan, though. To answer your question, Hexcrawl. I mean, honestly, if you want to be involved in what's going on with the pool, and Buck has been ubiquitous on like all these streams and stuff too. So there's
Yeah,
that. But I would get in the Telegram if you just go to. I
yeah,
think it's ProveX
yes,
ProveXpool.com, and it'll have a link to the Telegram and stuff there. Like I've been in there every day, just kind of seeing what they're saying. There will be a time when he will close it, I believe, though.
yes. Well, once it gets to be disadvantageous to even get in, I'm sure it requires a lot of calculation on their part. Yeah, it's going to take a lot of work. I mean, I know he's got developers that work on their PH sites and things like that that built the format to do whatever they'll do on the payout side of things and the bot and everything like that. But yeah, eventually it's not even going to be worth it. And they may even say, hey, at some point, don't sacrifice anymore. I hope they get the word out because, we're not accepting anymore. It may get sent back. I don't know what'll be done with it. But either way, there's going to be a point where it's just not even to your advantage to get in at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Which he may shut it down by then. So I would check with that. I mean, like, and for some of the people that I find this rich too, but it's probably the same people that complain about RH are the same people that might be in that pool in Buck's Telegram, complaining about decisions he's making. When I mean, you could just go ahead and not sacrifice in the pool and get like half the multiplier, so I don't know. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, Hexcrawl. I'm just saying there are people doing that. So yeah, check in with that. I do think he will definitely shut it down at some point. I don't know when that will be, but whenever it's like you said, Ewok, not advantageous anymore. So
yeah, I mean, unless you have over $300,000 to take the number 2 or 3 spot, it is beneficial to join the pool. So again, I think the first you're still at a straight up almost 2.0. All of these are over 100 grand. So
the top 10 or so there. Is that 10?
Yeah, that's the top 10. We could go down to 100 or whatever. But you're still even at $20,000 here flat, you're at 1.6. So it takes a lot of economic energy to kind of replace what you're getting by joining the pool. Even with the fee and the step up here and in the next couple of days.
Valiant low key, no. The Buck pool, there's nothing about the wait, let me read this again. Pool decide on that the deadline for the bonus to end, or did the bonus and multiplier changes that's just the sacrifice set. The only thing that Buck's pool controls is and again, I would be in the Telegram to see this stuff. They communicate it pretty dang clearly, but depending upon when you're sending, there is always a small fee that they will charge on the back end before they distribute tokens for using their pool. And that's changed over time. I don't want to totally weigh this stream down with those details because I would go check with Buck for that. And frankly, you missed the best rate already by far. I mean, they always could reduce it in retrospect, but I think right now they're taking a fee off the multiplier of 33%, but it was 10% during the first week or so, Ewok. So I would go check where they are. But either way, regardless of any of that, at this very moment, still advantageous to sacrifice with the pool than on your own for sure, if you're interested in sacrificing. If you don't want to do any of this, please don't do it. That's what people seem to think that just discussing the options mean we're trying to say that this is what you must do. No, you don't have to do anything. No. There's plenty of people out there right now dumping tokens they've held for 2 years to sacrifice for it, which is not great. But anyway.
No, and try to use fresh capital if you're going to do this.
Definitely.
Again, do what you want with your own money, and we're not telling you what to do. It's a recommendation that we did ourselves, and that was put fresh capital in. I don't want to sell tokens at a loss. It just doesn't make sense.
Viper, to answer your question here, what tokens can you not sack with? It'd be easier. There's a lot you can't sack with. To make this easy, and I'll tell you this, especially if you're participating in Buck's pool and everything, I would use stables. That's would be my preference, and I would send from Ethereum or Pulse Chain. That's going to be your easiest way to do it. You can send Ethereum and stuff, but then you're also will go up or down in value. I am a fan of using stables and sending from Ethereum or Pulse Chain. If you're on Pulse Chain, what I mean by stables is the Ethereum copy of USDC, DAI, Tether, whatever it is. That would be like on the main coin options if you were on the Pateus DEX or something.
The ones that are pegged to $1.
Not the ones that are future going to be pegged to $1. Make sure the ones that are currently $1 that live on Ethereum, but you're getting the wrapped version on Pulse. Those are accepted. And Buck has said if you're sending from ETH or Pulse and using stables, that's the easiest by far for them. It auto sends to the sacrifice address, actually.
Yep.
So, because there's a lot of people that are like, do I have this on Base and I have this on Polygon? And they're like, we'll probably get to it tomorrow and manually send it for you. So keep it simple, and that's what I would stick with. That's what we have done. So, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so that's kind of the mechanics around it, how you can do it if you're still interested. It's amazing to me. We didn't know Richard would do that live video, but I wouldn't have anticipated that the day after the best period ended, everyone would be flooding, not everyone, but some people would be flooding into this thing. But let's face it, it's because of the video. I keep wanting to say live stream. So